Came for my wins, I need my ends. This life is real, I get it in, I get it in.
What's going on, people? Welcome to today's episode of The Flex. Sorry I've been a little bit longer than usual, man. I've been busy, do you know what I'm saying? I've had a couple of things to do outside of the house, man. Football's back as well. I've been buzzing about that. Obviously, Man United have had their first game. And I've just been buzzing. I've been out to Sky Sports, off to TalkSport as well. So I had quite a bit to do during the week as lockdown is starting to ease and things are starting to return back to normal. But I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on football being back, man. Not so much on Manchester United against Tottenham. You guys know my reaction to that on the United Stand. You can find that there. But just in general, I've really enjoyed it, man. I have. It's been so long since we've had football. I think it was like 101 days or something like that. 100 days or along those lines. A long time. And starting off from the Villa-Sheffield United game, it was really poor. I thought what we're seeing is a lot of teams that are coming back and the quality's not there. Obviously, we've all had a laugh at Arsenal's expense, absolute banter. Only, look, I've just enjoyed having the banter back, ripping into DT, Troops, Robbie, all of the guys over there. Their club's back in spectacular fashion, you know what I mean? It couldn't happen to a nicer team. What a great way to ease your way back after lockdown, to have a laugh at Arsenal's expense. I think we can all agree, unless you're an Arsenal fan, that's obviously been jokes, man. Just being able to banter them, man, left, right and centre has been great, even though we didn't get the result that we wanted. But I did say that I don't know if it's going to be like a fast-paced return, but and I think I'm kind of being proved right. There's a lot of ring rust, which you expect, a lot of players making mistakes. You look at our game, Rashford wasn't great. You're looking at other games, I'm thinking even Man City for the first 20 minutes against Arsenal weren't great at giving the ball away. Liverpool and Everton, they've just played out a 0-0 draw as well. They wasn't great. Everton probably should have won that on the balance of the game, but they should have won that. Liverpool not at their sparkling best. So we're seeing teams kind of come back really rough. You look at Sheffield United getting clapped up by Newcastle as well. Wolves, though, looking all right. So it is a really difficult time to judge players fully. You can't really after so long. You know what I mean? You look at that Watford-Leicester game. Wow, I mean, I want Watford to stay up. And obviously we always want Leicester to drop points because we're so far behind them. You never know, we could get a sniff. But you look at that game, on the balance of play, Watford, fighting for their lives, showed great fight, great spirit, got back into the game right into the end to snatch a point, So there's so much going on. You can't really call everything. Palace, slapping up Bournemouth as well. Bournemouth in big trouble. So there's so much to play for, but I am enjoying having it back. The crowd noises is another thing I want to talk about because I've been toggling between with it on and with it off. I think the first game, which was Sheffield United, Aston Villa, the levels were all wrong. So I weren't really feeling that one, to be honest. I wasn't feeling that. But then the next one, which was City Arsenal, they kind of tweaked it. I watched the Man United game with the crowd on. I did, but the Liverpool one, I watched it with it off. I think I'm just kind of at peace with it's just a new way of consuming the game for the foreseeable. It's going to be like that, obviously, for the rest of this season, and I dare say, it's definitely going to resume like that next season. I can't see us being back in stadiums in September, no chance. So I've enjoyed it. Like I said, I think that, you know what I did predict was that we're more emotionally invested in this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we can all pretend to be Bundesliga fans, which I was doing. I was watching flipping Paderborn against flipping God knows who, and like Union Berlin and that, like just to watch some football. But now it's our teams and all the games have an impact on your team or your team's playing. We're just way more emotionally invested in it. Do you know what I'm saying? So I've enjoyed that. Look, I haven't spoke to you guys since obviously the news that broke with Marcus Rashford. I think he's been, look, what he's done off the pitch, it's just been brilliant. The whole Black Lives Matter movement as well, but just providing for the kids that he understands where they're coming from and where those kids are going to need those free school meals. You're talking over 600,000 people lost their jobs, in the last 3 months. Do you know what I'm saying? That's over 500,000 people. It's mad. 600,000 people lost their jobs. And I'm not saying all of those are parents, but you think how many out of that 600,000 are single parents, or not even single parents, just parent households where, they do struggle for money. They do struggle to put food on the table. I was massively proud of Marcus Rashford for doing that. Raheem Sterling's been talking up, and seeing all the players with the Black Lives Matters on the back of the shirts as well has been a big thing, and everyone taking a kneel. It's kind of odd to see. I've been looking at it thinking, boy, I never thought I would ever see this in this country, in this sport. Do you know what I'm saying? I never thought we'd see that. You see it a lot in America. You saw what happened in the NFL with a player who did this a couple of years ago, and they just ostracized him from the league, lost his whole career, and now everyone's taking a knee around the world. So, no, he's a pioneer himself. But you don't really see that in the English game. That sort of standing up, for that, and that's powerful. But like I said in my Sky Sports News interview, which I was really happy to do, shout out Sky Sports for having me on. But we'll just talk about not making it tokenism. Like, this is great now, and Black Lives Matter on the back of the shirts is a great thing. The awareness is up, but like I said, man, it's got to be changing structure of organisations. Do you know what I mean? It has to be. That's a video for a different time, but just on that, as because it's part of the return of football, I've really enjoyed that. Another thing I've liked is when you look at obviously the ground, I like how all the grounds have kind of got their flags out, or they've covered all the seats to make it look a little bit easier on the eye. In the Bundesliga, they got like no, it wasn't Bundesliga. What was it? Was it Spain? I think it was Spain. I was watching La Liga. Is it Bundesliga as well? No, it's Bundesliga as well, I think. No, it's Spain. I was watching Seville, and they've got like a digital crowd, which is kind of like a digital computer image where on the seats where it looks like crowds there. Wasn't really a fan of that. When they go to take a throw in or they take a corner and they go to a different camera angle, the crowd kind of cuts in and out. It's like a dodgy little transfer. I wasn't really feeling that, but I like what we've done in this country, and I was watching the League 1 playoff, is it? Or was it League 2 playoff? I think it was League 2, Northampton against Colchester, and they had like cutouts of people. Loved that. I love that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Man United's first game at home as well after the lockdown. We got a win. Sheffield United got clapped up by Newcastle, so it was a disappointing draw for us against Spurs, but we've got to win. And look, there's 8 games to go, and I'm just getting used to it, almost like a World Cup. Obviously, it's not as exciting because we were all, had one common goal, and that was for England to win. If you're English watching this, during that World Cup when we got to the semis, but with this, I'm kind of looking at it like there's so many games. You might finish work or whatever because people are starting to go back to work. You can come back, you can watch a couple of games. Saturday, I love that the fact there's like 4 games, you could just bang a marathon out. So I'm really enjoying it to the max, to be honest with you, and I'm looking forward to seeing not only how we finish, but the fight for relegation is interesting, of who's going to stay up. Villa with another loss today as I'm filming this, so as you lot watching it was yesterday, but are they going to be able to stay up? We'll have to see. Check out the Premier League show that me and Mark started actually over on United Stand. We'll be talking more about the other teams as well. Let me know who you guys are supporting, you know what I mean? But this biggest thing this week, I have to say, because this is kind of like a little weekly update, you know when it's kind of like I just want to touch in and do a bit of a weekly update just to let you know what's been going on. I just felt liberated this week, man. I felt liberated. I got a call from Sky Sports week before last. Shout out Emma Payton, and she WhatsApped me and she was like, "Yo, do you want to come on, etc." She's like, "We can do it via Zoom or StreamYard or whatever. We can do it online." And I was like, "Nah, just get me out the house. I'll go anywhere. I don't care where it is. I'll drive to however far." In the end, they end up coming up to near me. Well, not near me, in where I live in Luton to do that interview, which was great. But I just was happy to be at the house, and then that was followed by going on to TalkSport as well, and just driving into London to go there just felt great. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've just been in for so long. That was the first day that I had kind of feeling like I was free a little bit. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's not to say like it feels like prison. I feel trapped because I know why we've had to, be in isolation or social distancing and stuff like that, will be on lockdown, and it needed to happen. But man, just because I'm so active and I'm driving around the country or flying around the world following Manchester United, it's been a real big one for me to be able to get out, and talking to some friends again who I haven't spoke to in a while, checking in on them. They've lost people and they've not been feeling too great, and on a different day I might be able to go and see them and support them, but it's been a lot. All you've got is your phone and your FaceTime and stuff like that, so being able to see people at a bit of a distance has helped, and especially from a work thing. Another thing I want to touch on actually before I finish today's video is how I felt watching the game, the Man United game. The game against Tottenham was the first Man United game I've watched from home in probably, I'd say, about 3.5 years now. I've seen every single game home and away for the last 3.5 years. and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I turned the TV up loud to try and get a bit of atmosphere, but it just felt foreign. And that's no disrespect to, people who don't get to go to games every week or never get to go to games. I realise I'm so lucky to be in the position that I'm in. And to be fair, I haven't always been in this position. I haven't been going to United home and away for all my life, so I'm never going to paint that picture. Obviously, I'm just extremely lucky and blessed to be able to do it now. But because I haven't done it in so long, I've almost forgotten what it's like not to watch a game of football at home, but to watch my team at home. And that was difficult. Shouting at the TV, screaming the house down. People in the house are shouting from downstairs, keep it down a bit, you know what I mean? I'm like, what? I feel like I'm there. I want to feel like I'm there. So I really struggled with that. It was nice to see replays though. You forget that with your own team, seeing the replay straight after something happens instantly. But even when I did my match reaction, I could have spent, 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever, looking at what the pundits say, rewatch things, go on Twitter, just get a general consensus. But I didn't do that. I just wanted to keep that match feel, because when I'm on a match day, obviously I walk straight out the ground, speak to God knows how many fans, do all their fan cams, then I have my say. I still haven't had time to listen to Ollie's post-match comments or listen to a couple of players' interviews or see some replay. So I kept that authenticity. I like that ruggedness of being able to give my opinion kind of just quite raw. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when you go to games, if those of you that have gone to games, you got a complete different opinion on the game or take on the game. If you've been in there in the stadium, it's a whole different thing. You can concentrate on one player a lot more. Obviously, the on TV, the camera is following the ball all the time, so you can see if a player hasn't touched the ball for a while. You can literally watch them to see what they're trying to do to fix that in real person. Whereas on the TV, you might think flipping at Martial ain't touched the ball for ages, but he could be making loads of runs, but you just might not see it because on TV it only shows the ball. So I found that tough. I found it tough to kind of scrutinise the players. Critique their performances accurately, because I know you can say, because you can see things over and over again, you might get it a bit more factually right in terms of who was at fault for this goal or who was at fault for that, because you're physically seeing a slow-mo from different angles. But in terms of tracking each individual player and giving an honest assessment of them, I find that easier to do when I'm there, because I can see each individual player for 90 minutes when they haven't even got the ball, when they're miles away from the ball, their position and their intention to get forward, their intention to sniff out the danger before it happens, how they're interacting with other players when the ball goes out for a throw-in or a set piece, who's taking control. You just get a whole different aspect. So I definitely did miss that. So the highlights of everything in the last week is definitely football coming back. That's the first one. Secondly, just getting out of the house, man. Just getting out of the house. And thirdly, Arsenal Football Club. They are absolute mess, and I'm just, it couldn't happen to a nicer set of lads. Couldn't happen to a nicer team. I've enjoyed that trolling. And lastly, actually, doing the fan cams, I've got to talk about that. Actually, I keep saying lastly. I always do that. I always saying lastly, and then something else comes to my head. But guess what? It's my channel. I can do it. Do what I want. I thought doing the fan cams the way that I did do them, I enjoyed it because it was great to speak to the guys and girls after the game and actually have some football to talk about. We spoke about so much hypothetical situations as United fans and the future and transfers. It was nice to be able to dissect a game and talk about the result, what we did well, what we didn't do well, personnel, Ollie, etc., etc. So I enjoyed that, and doing it online was a bit different for me, because again, it's the first time I've interviewed people like that. It's the same way I haven't been at home watching a game for 3.5 years. Was the same way that I've always been interviewing people at the game, raw opinion straight afterwards. You're outside the stadium, you've just felt the energy of that win, or that Martial goal, or that Bruno piece of magic, or you've just felt the deflation, the anger, the frustration of losing or whatever. So I imagine if we would have played like that and been at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, we would have been even more frustrated than we was on camera. But I enjoyed it. Player ratings was always good as well. So yeah, for me, I'm getting used to it. I'm not going to have to get used to it. 8 more games we've got in the Premier League, plus obviously the FA Cup as well, which you look what happened to Norwich. Shout out Jamal and Todd. It didn't go their way, and I think it's going to be very difficult for them to stay up now. But we've got to play Norwich on the weekend as well, so hopefully we get through to the FA Cup semi-final. So we've got a few more games, and obviously Europa League will be coming back in August as well, taking place in Germany, and almost like a little mini tournament there that's going to be played back-to-back games. So a lot to look forward to, but I'm just happy that lockdown's easing. I've got to get out of the house. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm out of here. I just want to give you guys a quick update of, you know, how I've, you know, my views on football coming back. You know, how I've enjoyed it, how I've not enjoyed it. Let me know how you've been watching football. Let me know what you think in the boxes below. Smash a like on the video as per usual, and make sure you subscribe. Don't come on here, watch the video and don't subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Because you lot just forget that all the time. Yeah? Smash the like on the video, and I will see you guys very, very soon. I'm out of here. Peace.